Hi everyone, and welcome to this lesson where we are going to be taking a deeper look at what is DeepSeek, excuse the pun. And DeepSeek has a lot of controversy around it because it's the new contender in the ring, competing with ChatGPT by OpenAI. Now, you might have used ChatGPT before, you might not have. I'm not going to be telling you which one is better or which one I feel is better in this course because I think they are absolutely both fantastic and they should both be used to elevate whatever career you might be in, or even if you are currently busy with studies or in school, whatever the case might be. AI is the future and we need to embrace it in everything we do. Now, I like DeepSeek because it is open source, it is free, and it's good to have healthy competition in the market because up till now, ChatGPT was my favorite AI by far, and it dominated in terms of which AIs I used on a day-to-day basis. So now it's nice to be integrating another AI into the mix. I use both AIs on a day-to-day basis, and this course specifically, we will just be having a look at DeepSeek. So let's get into it. I'm here on BBC News, and it says posted 4 days ago. It is currently the month of February in the year 2025. Now, if you are taking this course far in the future, do not worry because the prompting principles that we teach you in this course will hold. AI will get better and better and better over time, and we've already seen that with AI. However, you need to learn how to speak to the AI correctly to get the most out of it, and that's what this course is doing. So we can see this was posted 4 days ago, and it says DeepSeek, the Chinese AI app that has the world talking. And indeed it does. And in my opinion, for a very good reason, the more open source AI that we can get our hands on, the better. Let's have a deeper look. It says DeepSeek, a Chinese artificial intelligence AI startup, made headlines worldwide after it topped app download charts and caused US stock markets to sink. In January, it released its latest model, DeepSeek R1, which said rival technology developed by ChatGPT maker OpenAI and its capabilities while costing far less to create, and indeed it is definitely a worthy opponent. So without getting carried away by news headlines, let's dive straight into DeepSeek and see what it's all about. Now, first things first, where do we find DeepSeek? So as you can see, I am on Google Chrome on my desktop. However, you can use DeepSeek on a Mac, on a Linux, Windows. You could use it on your phone, your tablet, and there's two ways you can use it. One is using the website over here. So I'm going to click on DeepSeek. As you can see, I've searched DeepSeek on Google, and you need to go to www.deepseek.com. There will be a lot of imposters posing to be DeepSeek. However, make sure you click the correct URL. This is it over here. So as I said, there are two ways of using DeepSeek. You can either get the app on your mobile device, or you can just start on your PC, which is how I'm going to be demonstrating DeepSeek during this course. So if you do want to get the app, you can just hover your mouse or your cursor over this, and you'll see that a barcode or a QR code will come up, and you can scan that with your device and download the app. If you want to start on your PC, you can just click on Start Now, and it will go through some checks just to verify that you are a human and not a robot. And once you are through that, you will then need to sign up. You will need to put in an email address and create a password. Be sure not to share that password with anyone and verify your email, and then you'll have a new account which will look something like this. Now, just running through this landing page, when you get into DeepSeek, you can immediately start chatting away to the model. On the left hand side here, this is where it's going to show your chat history. You can see at the moment I have none, and if it is your first time using DeepSeek, you also will not have any. Once you have had a conversation, it will store over here and you can always go back to it. As you can see over here, it pops up a barcode again if you want to get the app, and right here at the bottom is your profile if you'd like to go and edit that. Now here at the top, you can close the sidebar if you don't want anyone peeking at your chat history, or if you just want a bigger user interface with which to work. Now on the user interface, it says, "Hi, I'm DeepSeek. How can I help you today?" Now we can go and start chatting with DeepSeek, and I'm going to show you some do's and don'ts about talking to DeepSeek and prompting DeepSeek in the next lesson so that you can become a well-rounded prompt engineer. Hi everyone, so in this lesson we will be building our very first prompt to DeepSeek, a very simple one, before we take a small dive into a little bit of theory where I can better demonstrate the do's and don'ts of good prompt engineering. Now, if you just take your cursor and go and click here where it says message DeepSeek, you'll be able to start typing to DeepSeek and getting responses from it automatically. It also has this search function over here, which says search the web when necessary. So I can go and enable that, and if I ask DeepSeek something and it has not learned that something during its pre-training, it can go and search the web for me and find the answer for me. However, if you don't have it on, you'll still be able to get a lot of information out of DeepSeek just based off of how much pre-training data it has received. And then over here, you have the DeepThink R1. Now, if I go and tick that, it's going to use the DeepSeek R1 engine. And what that does is it takes a little bit longer to generate a response for you. However, it is using that time to reason and it is giving you a more accurate answer. So if you're going to ask it a complex problem, I would suggest putting that functionality on so that it can take a little bit longer and it can think its answer through. Now, if I navigate to the right-hand side over here, we can go and upload documents, and as you can see, a maximum of 50 documents, 100 megabytes each. That's quite a lot of documents we can upload. You can upload PDFs or images such as JPEGs or PNGs. However, all this AI can do is extract text from those documents that you upload. So if I go and put some PDFs from my place of work or from my place of study, and I wanted to go and summarize information from there, it can do that for me, and we will definitely be showing that in another lecture. But for starters, let's write a very simple prompt, our first prompt to DeepSeek, and we are going to say, hi DeepSeek. Now just remember, formalities such as saying hi DeepSeek or saying thank you are not necessary, and I don't advise that you waste your time with all these formalities as it is just AI. However, if it's part of your nature to be friendly, then by all means, go for it. So I will say, hi DeepSeek, I need a new summary for my LinkedIn bio. Now, what I'm going to demonstrate over here is skipping a line. So if I just press the enter key on my keyboard now, it's going to send this prompt to DeepSeek and it's going to start formulating a response. However, if I want to go to the next line, I'm going to hold in shift on my keyboard and then press enter. And as you can see, I've just skipped to the next line. Now, why would I want to go and skip a line like this? Because it helps maintain structure in my prompt, which again, I'm going to show you the importance of structure later on. But for now, it's just a neat little trick that I thought I would show you to go to the next line. So I'm going to say, ask me 5 relevant questions about my career so that you can accurately formulate a well-rounded LinkedIn bio for me. Now, if you don't have LinkedIn, don't worry. A LinkedIn bio is similar to any professional biography of yourself, such as on your CV, you might have a short summary about yourself, or even a cover letter, which is very important when applying for jobs. So I'm going to go and send this in. And what's nice is that I have not gone and told DeepSeek everything that I feel is important, but rather I'm going to let DeepSeek ask me what it thinks is important, because remember, it's been trained on billions of data sets and it has already seen plenty of summarizations of professional careers, and so it knows what are the important questions to ask. I will then answer those questions and then it'll formulate a bio for me. So now I can go and click enter, or I can simply go and click this up arrow, and that's going to send in my very first prompt. Now, as you can see, it is busy loading and it is going to start generating a response for us. So let's have a look. It says, of course, Here are 5 questions to help me craft a well-rounded LinkedIn bio for you. So in the next lesson, we are going to go and answer these questions, and let's see what type of a bio I get. Hi everyone, so let's jump right back into it. Let's answer these questions and get my LinkedIn bio from DeepSeek. So as you can see, the way it answers is very similar to ChatGPT in terms of its formality, its diction. It writes in a very friendly but professional manner, and that is why I feel it is such a powerful AI. So it says, what is your current role and what are your key responsibilities or achievements in this position? And then it says, what industries or fields have you worked in and how have they shaped your career path? What are your core skills, strengths, or areas of expertise that set you apart in your field? What are your career goals or aspirations and how do you want to position yourself professionally? And lastly, it says, do you have any notable accomplishments, certifications, or projects you'd like to highlight? And you can see underneath each question, it goes into further depth inside these brackets, explaining why it is asking these questions and why they are important. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. Now, before I start responding, I can go here and I can copy this text that it has sent me, which of course, if it generates an essay for you or generates some code for you, you can just go and copy it to your clipboard right here. I can regenerate if I'm not happy with its response, but I don't feel like changing my prompt. I can just click the regenerate over here. I can like the response if I feel the AI has given me a great response, or I can dislike that response. And we'll get into why this sort of feedback is important later on. So I'm going to go and answer these. And of course, I am a Udemy instructor, but I'm also a chemical process engineer. And I'm going to answer these questions based off of my career as a chemical process engineer. So now in my response, I need to be clear to the AI. I don't want to write a big block of writing and it must guess which pieces of those text belong to which question. So I'm going to go and put a 1 over here so that the AI knows that I'm responding to the first question. And it says, what is your current role? And I'm going to say chemical process engineer. And it says, what are your key responsibilities or achievements? So I'm going to go and say, full project delivery from concept to turnkey development of full stage gold mining processing plants. And as you can see, I've made a typo over here, so I'm just going to go and correct that. Generally, you don't have to correct your typos because it is a language model. It is accustomed to language and it'll probably pick up the spelling error before you do. Now, of course, I recommend that you would go and answer these questions in as much detail as possible, but for the sake of this lecture, I'm just going to keep them short and sweet. Now I need to answer the second question. I'm not going to send this prompt in yet because then it'll start replying. I want to give an answer to all 5 questions and then send it in. So now I'm going to use that little trick that I showed you where I will hold in shift and press enter and it takes me to the next line and I can then start answering question 2. So it says, what industries or fields have you worked in and how have they shaped your career path? So I'm just going to name a few. I will say oil and gas, battery grade mineral refinement, and gold processing. I'm going to answer the second half of the question where it says, how have they shaped your career path? And I'm going to say, being a client facing friendly and professional engineer in these fields have shaped me into a confident and hard-working individual. Now for the next question, I will click shift and enter once again. I'll then put a 3. What are your core skills, strengths, or areas of expertise? And I'm just going to go and say design software such as SysCAD, AutoCAD, Python, and Excel. Right, now onto the next question. I will click shift enter. And it says, what are your career goals or aspirations? And I will say positions of leadership.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
And if I want to do that, I can simply go and click copy over here, and it will have copied this response for me. Do bear in mind that it copies the whole response, so I will need to go and remove this initial bit of writing that it said to me. And if I'm not happy with this response, which may happen from time to time, I can just go and regenerate. And before I regenerate, if I'm not happy with the response, I'll give a thumbs down. And we're going to be talking about that in the next lesson. Hi everyone, so in the previous lesson, you will remember that I ended off by showing you that you can either give the AI's response a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And in this lesson, I'm going to be showing you why that is important. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to teach you about hallucinations. Now, what are hallucinations when it comes to AI, and specifically your large language models such as DeepSeek or ChatGPT? Now, hallucinations are responses that you get from the AI that are irrelevant, nonsensical, or factually incorrect. It is responses that come from the AI, but that data that it gave you that is incorrect might have never appeared in its pre-training data, and it just hallucinated this new information, hence the term hallucinations. Now, what causes these hallucinations? Well, this can come from limited training data. Now, even though your large language models such as DeepSeek are trained on billions of data sets, they are still not trained on every single bit of data in the world, and you might just ask it something that it doesn't know anything about. It can also hallucinate due to ambiguity of the question that you asked it. Perhaps you left out a specific word that would have been important to the grammar of your prompt, or perhaps you misspelled something, or it simply just misunderstood what you were trying to ask it. And lastly, the AI is constantly trying to balance accuracy and fluency. It is trying to give you a response that's accurate, but it still wants to deliver its response in a way that sounds fluent in whatever language you are prompting it in. It wants to write to you in a professional and friendly way, and it wants to give you a response quite quickly. And in doing this, it might favor the fluency over the accuracy. Now, one thing that's important to remember, as human-like as these AIs are, and trust me, sometimes I fall into the trap of thinking that I'm just talking to another human on the other end, we have to constantly remind ourselves that AI does not have a conscious understanding. It does not have a brain with a prefrontal lobe where it can consciously reason with you. It is simply just performing predictions when generating a response for you, predicting what is the correct sequence of words or tokens. Tokens is just broken up pieces of a word that it must respond to you to be as helpful as possible. And this is why it is a language generation type model, a large language model that is generating a language response for you. And it is doing this through a sequence of patterns, and it is not doing this, not even remotely the same way as how our brains compute responses when we are busy trying to talk to somebody else. So how do we mitigate these hallucinations? Well, analysis. So go have a look at the prompt you have sent if you're not happy with your response, and see how can I improve my prompt, because it might not be solely the AI's fault for the bad response. Part of the blame might fall on us, and we need to go and see, did we misspell something or did we misword something? And then of course, refinement. Let's go and refine our prompt and try be as clear as possible for the AI. And lastly, feedback. And now we've done a full circle back to the beginning of the lecture where I showed you the thumbs up or the thumbs down on DeepSeek. This is how we directly give feedback to DeepSeek. Developers for these AIs are constantly improving these models, hence all the updates and the newer versions that keep coming out. And the thumbs up and the thumbs down directly allows us Concise to maintain the reader's engagement, because AI can tend to give long responses from time to time. And lastly, I said match the writing style of the sender for easier comprehension. So if the sender writes very professionally and uses a very formal register, well, then I want the AI to do the same. However, if they write to me in a very basic narrative, I want the AI to do the same so that I don't overwhelm the sender. So let's go to step 2, which is use structured formatting. So the first thing I want to do is insert line spaces, which you already know is Shift Enter. So you can see that I've written here email, I've written prompt, and I've written clarifications. All of these three things are separated by a line space. Now, what are these three things and why have I separated them? Well, they are variables, and each variable pertains to something, and then that something is followed by a colon to explain what it is. Let me explain further. The variable email contains the email that I want the AI to reply to. The prompt is the prompt that I'm writing to the AI, pretty much the instruction. I'm telling it what I want it to do. And the last variable is clarifications, where I'm clarifying what rules it must follow when it is carrying out the instruction given to it in my prompt. And finally, I've used delimiters, and you can see I've used triple quotation marks over here. And the reason I've put triple quotation marks is sometimes it is easier to delimit things with triple quotation marks. Sometimes it's easier to delimit them with these symbols over here. However you choose to do it, just make sure that it looks unique and the AI is easily able to distinguish what is the email from what is your prompt. Step 3, provide context. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, here's the context. Because the AI doesn't know who I am and it doesn't know how it's supposed to respond just based off of the prompt that I've given. So I've given some context saying my name is, and you will go and insert your name there. I work as a, you can insert your job title, or you can insert whatever it might be that defines you. And then I've put at insert company description. I received the following email from and then you'll insert whether it's your manager or your client or your mom or your dad or whoever it might be who sent you the email, and you'll put their first name as well so the AI knows how to address them. I then said which can be found in the email variable below, enclosed by the triple quotation marks. So I've directly given context to the AI. I've directly told it which variable contains the email and where the email starts and ends. Well, it starts at these triple quotation marks and it ends at these triple quotation marks. So it knows it is only responding to this email. It is not responding to my prompt, and it is not carrying out instructions in the email, because let's say I receive this email from a client and they are telling me what I must design for them. I don't want the AI to go and start doing the designs for me. I just wanted to reply to the email. So by using these delimiters, the AI knows exactly what is what. Now, if we look at what is on the screen, which of course will be in the lesson's resources, this is a well-developed prompt. Now, I like to keep this on my computer in my notes so that when I receive an email and I quickly want a response, I can just go and copy this. I can paste it into DeepSeek or ChatGPT. I can just go and populate it with the sender's name, where they're coming from, and I can adjust it from time to time to provide more or less context. And this typically gives me a great response that I can then send to the reader without me needing to go and formulate it myself. However, as impressive as this is, it is extremely important that I tell you, read and proofread the response you get from the AI before you go and send it out to somebody else, in case the AI has either hallucinated or said something that you typically would not say. And of course, you don't want the receiver of the email to receive an email that seems like it was generated by AI, as that is non-authentic. So what you would rather have is the AI just helping to summarize what's already in your mind. Now, on the topic of people receiving emails that they can predict whether or not it comes from AI, this is becoming a bit of a problem recently as people are using AI for everything. And I'm going to show you in the next lesson how to engineer your prompt to get a response that sounds less like AI and more like a human. And this is important when it comes to things like SEO optimization, which is your search engine optimization. If you're in marketing or if you write a lot of blogs or news articles and you want the reader to feel like this is authentic and coming from a human, I'm going to show you how to get a response from AI that comes across as very authentic. Hi everyone. So in this lesson, I'm going to be showing you how to create SEO optimized responses from your AI, which is search engine optimization. Because these days, when somebody goes and looks for a blog or a news article, your search engines such as Google will typically go and filter out all of the stuff that it detects as AI, and it will push to the top of the list stuff that is generated by humans. Now, if you are using AI to create something for you, such as a blog, you want that blog to get viewed by people and not just pushed down to the bottom. So you don't want people to suspect that it has been written by AI. So I'm going to show you some things that you can add to your prompt in order to make it sound as human-like as possible. Now, beware, this is not foolproof and it does not ensure that you can go and submit stuff generated by AI and think that it will go undetected by AI. And I'm definitely not an advocate for using AI to complete things such as tasks for you for university, etc., etc. However, let's take a look. So I've said, write a blog titled The DeepSeek Revolution. Come up with a catchy title along these lines and display it first. Ensure that the blog speaks about relevant information. Include fascinating statistics, because people love reading about statistics. And do not possess a monotonous writing style. And contain ideas that really hook the reader's engagement and spark critical thinking. Include well-placed, advanced humor, rhetorical questions, and a personal instance where you were shocked by AI's capabilities. Now, the reason I've said well-placed humor and rhetorical questions is that makes it seem like a human, as people don't really know AI as something that can possess humor or can ask rhetorical questions to the reader. That is something specifically human. However, the AI is actually able to do that for you. And I've said a personal instance where the AI is going to talk about a time where it was shocked about AI's capabilities. However, it is the AI itself speaking about itself. You get where I'm going with this. So before I go and send this in, I'm going to go and put search the web on, as I wanted to take some information and statistics from news articles that currently exist. And I'm going to put DeepThink R1 on. Now I know it'll take a little bit longer to compute a response for me. However, this blog post needs to sound as human-like as possible. So before I go and send this in, one last thing, I'm going to emphasize this last instruction or clarification that I give it. By holding in Shift, I'm going to click Enter twice, so it's on a new line, and I'm going to say important. And now I've just created a variable called important, and it knows that this is a very important clarification for it, despite everything else that I've told it to do. I'm going to say sound as human-like as possible in your blog, and now I'm ready to send it in. Let's see what I get. Now, as you can see, it says thinking, and it says searching the web, found 50 results. I can go and expand that, and it is showing me all the news articles that it is going through right now. And if I want to go and verify whether the sources that the AI used was legit or not, I can go and look through these. And I do recommend doing that just to ensure that the AI is not referencing something that is incorrect. And if it is, tell it to redo its response for you, but neglect one of the pages that you don't like. So I'm going to close this banner. And as you can see, it has started writing me a response. And it's got the title, The DeepSeek Revolution, How a $6 Million Underdog is Rewriting the Rules of AI and Why Silicon Valley is Sweating. The day an AI made me cry. Let me start with a confession. And wow, right off the bat, the AI saying that it needs to confess something automatically makes me think that this is a human writing it. It says, I'm a jaded tech writer. I've seen chatbots hallucinate about quantum lasagna. Now remember, we just learned about hallucinations, and now the AI is speaking about hallucinations as if it is a human that has encountered these problems before. Watched AI generated art resemble cursed potato people and endured enough robotic small talk to last a lifetime. But last week, DeepSeek's AI did something unexpected. When I asked it, how do I cope with losing a pet? It replied, grief isn't a flaw, it's the price of love. Collect the echoes, a collar, a paw print, a memory of them stealing your pizza. Their absence isn't emptiness, it's a sculpture shaped by moments you'll carry forever. I cried, then I panicked. Since when did the algorithms become poets? Now it has also gone and put a reference as to where this bit of information came from. So yes, it is referencing someone who actually got this response from DeepSeek. And if I go and click on this, it'll take me to that news article. Now I'm not going to go and read through this whole blog. You definitely can, or better yet, get it to generate a blog for you using the prompt engineering tactics that I've demonstrated up here at the top. Get it to write you a blog that sounds as human-like as possible, and perhaps send it to a family member and say, look what I've written, and see if they can pick up whether it was written by AI or if they think that you just wrote a really fantastic blog. Hi everyone, and welcome to your final lesson on this course before you can go ahead and collect your certificate. Well done for making it this far. This last lesson is just a fun one. It can be a follow along, or you can go and do it yourself. You can pause the video and try see if you are able to do it yourself using DeepSeek, but without my help. Otherwise, you can just continue watching the video. So in this lesson, we are going to be creating a Mandelbrot. Now, what is a Mandelbrot? And I'm sure you're seeing all these pretty images here on the screen. And it is a mathematical representation of the orbit of a number under a quadratic equation. Now, that all sounds very complex, so do not worry too much about it, but it is a mathematical representation that brings about these very pretty images. And we are going to actually use DeepSeek to generate code for us that we can run that code, Python code specifically, that will generate these images for us. Now, in this lesson, we are going to be using something known as PyCharm, and I've got PyCharm over here. It is an IDE where you can run code such as Python. You can use whatever IDE you prefer, so long as it is able to complete this job. And in order to do that, you will need to go and pip install numpy matplotlib inside of the terminal. Now, what does this mean? And if you are not a developer and you are not familiar with code, then do not worry, but still follow along in this lesson because we are going to be demonstrating some good prompt engineering skills. However, if you are new to this or you just want to give it a try, what you have to go do is open up your Python IDE, such as Visual Studio or PyCharm, and what you will do is you'll open the terminal. So here in PyCharm, and I'm using the community edition, which is free to use. You can download it for free off of Google. All you need to do is go and click on this terminal over here, and you will see your cursor moving over here, and you can just simply type pip install numpy matplotlib, and then click enter on your keyboard and allow it to go and install this library for us. Once this library is installed, I will then show you how we are going to prompt engineer DeepSeek to generate this code for us. I did not write any of this code on my own. And once we have just copied and pasted this code, I can click run, and let me show you what happens. As you can see, we get this figure 1, the Mandelbrot set, and it is quite a beautiful image. And it can have some use cases too, especially for our graphic designers out there. And that is such an incredible image, and the fact that this was generated for us just using DeepSeek is very impressive. And for those who are avid coders, you can see that this code demonstrates some impressive techniques in coding. So there's a lot to learn from this lesson. Let's get right into it. So for starters, I'm going to go into DeepSeek and I'm going to begin my prompt. Now, using our good prompting principles, I'm going to start off with 2 variables, and the first variable I'm going to call prompt, and then I'll click shift and enter and skip 2 lines, and I'll call my second variable clarifications, as you have seen before. And in the prompt, I'm going to say generate Python code that I can run that will produce a Mandelbrot set for me. And then I will go to clarifications, and I'm going to number these clarifications starting with 1, and I'm going to say ensure I can simply copy and paste the code. Then I'll go to the next line to put the next clarification, number 2. I will say inform me of how to run the code and any installations I must do in the terminal. And then lastly, clarification number 3, I'm going to say explain how I can edit the Mandelbrot set. Now I'm going to go and send in this prompt, and let's see what we get from DeepSeek. So I've left DeepThink R1 on. I don't think it's necessary to do that, especially if you're under time constraints. But what I like to see is the thinking process of DeepSeek. And it says, okay, the user wants Python code to generate a Mandelbrot set. Let me think about the steps needed here. And we can see the whole thought process because I've left the R1 model on. It says, first, I need to make sure the code is self-contained so they can copy and paste it directly. And of course, you can see it is following my first clarification. They mentioned using matplotlib and numpy, which are common libraries, but I should check if those need to be installed. Oh right, the user might not have them installed, so I should include instructions for installing via pip. Now, of course, I did not tell it what libraries I needed to install, but I just told it that if there are any installations, it must tell me which ones, and it is going to do that. It it says next the code itself. The Mandelbrot set is calculated by iterating each point in the complex plane, and I'm not going to get too carried away by the mathematics of how this works. But as you can see, you can go and read through its whole thought pattern over here. And just like that, it has generated some code for us. So I'll want to go and copy this code and paste it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing I'm going to do is just go and close PyCharm. And yes, I will exit and I will terminate the code. So I'm going to show you from scratch how to do this. So the first thing I'll do is open up PyCharm. And typically when you open PyCharm, it has some default code over here. You can just go and delete that. That's some example code. The next thing I want to find out is what pip installations I need to do in the terminal. So if I scroll down, it says to run this code, first install the required packages, which is pip install numpy matplotlib. So I have already gone and done this, but if you want to do this, you can go and highlight this and right click and click copy, or you can just click copy over here. Then in PyCharm, you can navigate to the terminal over here. You can open up the terminal. Here's my cursor moving, and I will just paste this and I'll click enter and just give it some time to go ahead and install that. As I said previously, I have already done that, so I'm not going to be doing it now. But what I will do is go and copy the entire code above, which is named mandelbrot.py, and then it says run it with python mandelbrot.py, and it tells us how we can go and edit the set. So we'll get to the edits now in a little bit. Firstly, I'm going to go and copy this code over here. I will then just go and paste it over here. Now I can go and change the name of the code to mandelbrot.py. I'm just going to leave it as main for now, and I'm going to go ahead and click run. And there we go. I have a Mandelbrot, and you can see it is different to the previous one that I generated in the beginning of the lesson. And we can see an iteration count here on the right hand side. Now this is quite a cool image, and it looks quite fiery and electric, and I'm going to go and see how can I edit this image. So I'll go back into DeepSeek, and it says over here, change the viewed area by modifying these parameters: xmin, xmax, ymin, ymax. So if you want to make it more zoomed in, or you want a different y range. We can also adjust the resolution in terms of width and height, and we can change the color scheme. We can modify the iteration depths, and lastly the divergence threshold. And it says over here the image will take longer to render for higher resolutions or iteration counts. For interesting ideas to zoom into, try these coordinates. So we can see here we have classic view, Seahorse Valley and Elephant Valley. So I'm going to go ahead and make some edits and see what happens. So I want to go and give Seahorse Valley a try. So we can see Seahorse Valley, it is telling us to change the coordinates, and we can see over here it starts with xmin and xmax, and then ymin and ymax. So this is my xmin, that's my xmax, this is my ymin, and this is my ymax. So let's go ahead and give this a try. I will start with minus 0.75 and minus 0.74. So if I have a look here in my code, here's my xmin and my xmax. So I'm going to start with minus 0.75, and I'll go to minus 0.74, and then my y coordinates 0.1 to 0.11. So let's go and put that in. And now I will stop the code, which is currently running, and now I will go and run the code once again. I'll give it some time to compute, and as we can see, here is Seahorse Valley, and how impressive is that? It looks like the tail of a seahorse. Now I'm going to leave this code for you in the course's resources, and you can go and grab it and run it. And of course you can also go and generate Elephant Valley for yourself by doing the exact same thing I just did for Seahorse Valley, just using the different coordinates. And you can do a classic view, and you can do any that you choose. But I challenge you to try get this code on your own from DeepSeek and run it and see if it works. Now, my final lesson to teach you is that if it gives you code that does not run or generates an error, try telling the AI exactly what error you got and sending the code back to the AI and saying this code generated this error, and let the AI figure out its mistake. On that note, I hope you enjoyed this last lesson, and I hope you enjoyed this short course. I wish you all the best and happy prompting in the future. A very big well done from me. Cheers.